Right. Livio, please turn on your camera, everybody. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasul Kareem, Sayyidina Muhammad, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam taslim kathira. So, you're welcome back. For this week, we would improve with the style.css. So we want to start the styling method of HTML today. And hopefully I'm gonna send you a kind of a worksheet so you can revise all of the things we had done before. So we've not actually finished all of the remaining section, but you can finish the rest yourself. So we're gonna move on to styling today. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna open a new file. So you're gonna come over here. Please, I want everyone to be on the same page with me. So let everyone be on the same page with me. Hussein, Abdullah, are you there? Hassan, Hussein, Hassan is on. Hussein, Abdullah, okay. Safwan. So
did you get my code? I sent it to you.
yeah, I got your email. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khairan. May Allah reward you abundantly. So I want it's very interesting when we continue to give more practice. It makes you become more perfect about all these things. So before you know, you start to write your own codes and design your own website. So the first thing to do today is we're gonna go over here and you're gonna click on the new file. So we're gonna name this one class 9 underscore task 2. So, and we should remember dot, you have to put the HTML. So that's what the first thing to do. So you name it class 9 task 2 HTML. Then you're going to do another one, which is for the CSS. So, and how to do that is you're going to open another file.
Ustad, what's the app name?
Did you say what?
The app name. This app that you're using, what's its name?
The app we're using now?
Yes.
We're using Visual Studio Code.
Say it again, please.
Visual Studio Code.
Okay.
VS Code. I think I told you to download this since almost 2 weeks ago. So this is
I just changed my device to a laptop, so
okay.
It's the first class with it.
Oh, that's great. So
can you send the link in again so I can restart my stuff, please?
Okay, let me see. So you can easily go here, VS Code, download. So and you come over here. It's pretty easy.
Yes.
So VS Code, if you don't have it on your laptop, kindly go along with me now. So you go to VS Code, then you click on the first one here. So once you click on it, it brings you down here. It depends on what you use. If you're working with Windows, if you're working with Linux or Mac, so you click on it. And if you're working with Mac, which is above 2017, you click on any of these two. But if you're working with the Mac, which is more than 2000 which is from 2020, so you're gonna click on Apple Silicon. So otherwise, just click on Universal. So then it brings you over here. Then you click on download. So then it downloads it. So, and afterwards, you go to your download and you open it, show in Finder. So it's already downloaded here. So you double click on it to open it. So it's gonna get the file from zip. So it pulls that on your system. So after that, you're gonna have to click on it to install it, and it's gonna tell you the instructions. But I already got it installed on my laptop already, so it's not gonna work anymore. So if you click on it, it's gonna take me just to the Visual Studio Code directly because I already had it. So you go to open. So once you open it, it's gonna bring me back to where I was because I already had it. So it's pretty easy. So just follow the instruction and make sure you're done in a few minutes. So we're gonna look at this for you. So this we were naming the now. Another file style.css, style.css. Abdurrahman, assalamu alaikum.
Hi.
So what we did before you came over was we had a new HTML file, which we named class 9 task 2. Abdurrahman, are you there? We had a new file before you came over, and the file is named class 9 task 2.html. So, and we named the second class style.css because we're gonna do a little bit of styling today. So the first thing we're gonna do is we start with the HTML codes first on the class 9 task 2. So let's write some simple things. The first thing we're gonna do is remember the left angle bracket and your doc type declaration, the HTML. Then on the page after it, your left angle bracket. We're starting now, please, everybody. Are you done, Masoud?
I'm installing it now.
Okay, we're gonna wait a little bit for you. Please let all this on. All the person leave the camera on.
Ustad, we can't hear you. Ustad, we cannot hear you. We cannot hear you.
What about now?
It's very low.
We can hear you, but it sounds like you're like muffled or something. Like,
What about now?
yeah, that's better.
Okay, sorry. I think the was very down. Okay. Now is everyone set? Okay, if everyone is set, then we can proceed.
Yeah, we set.
Yeah. We can proceed. So the first two things we're gonna do before we start writing the lines of code is you give a declaration of a doc type to tell the web page you want to write your codes in HTML. Then you write the HTML in between the left angle bracket and the right angle bracket. Then afterwards, you put in your head, declare the header. So in between the header, there is gonna be something unique here because we want to work with two things. You want to connect your CSS with the HTML. So what do? You're gonna have to create a kind of link. So you open a left angle bracket and you write link. You want to link this file to your style.css. So equals to style shape, STYN, style shape. So, and then you move forward a little bit. Then just write a href, which is a reference that what you connecting it to, we're connecting it to the CSS file. So once you've done this, then you put your backslash and your left angle bracket. So this is called the closing tag. So this is exactly what you do that helps you to connect your HTML with your CSS. So once you've done this, you can start writing the body. So then you move down your left angle bracket, then your right body and your right angle bracket. In between these, you can write some simple things like, let's start with a header. Like give it a header one. And what do you want to write in between the header one? Let's say you want to talk about the ID, which is gonna be the one, which is gonna be header one. Because header one. So you want to give it that name header one. And what do you mean by this header one is gonna be the what is gonna be chapter one. So it's gonna be chapter one. Let's just use very simple examples today so that we can have short. We don't have too long things. So then we can also write some paragraph. Remember, you need to declare a paragraph with a P and you close it with a left angle bracket and write the first chapter. The first chapter. And you can also have a second header. Remember that what you're trying to do now is you're trying to create a kind of header and a paragraph, header and a paragraph, header and a paragraph. So you want to have several headers and different paragraphs underneath it. So then the second one, you write the H1. Remember, if you want to reduce the size of your header, you can increase the number to maybe 2, 3, or 4, depending on what you want to do. But let's leave it for 1 for now, and we can try to change it later. So then your left angle bracket again, and you write your H1. So, and you use your right angle bracket in between that, you write a chapter 2. I just want to write something very simple today so that we can have more things done. So then your paragraph B. Then what do you say in the paragraph? I'll say this here. So let's say in the second paragraph, you say the second chapter. Asim, Assalamu alaikum.
You're
welcome. Second chapter. So the second chapter, then you can also move down and do another header. So it's these are all the things you've actually known before. So we're just trying to put them into practice. Chapter 3. So chapter 3, say the third chapter. So so we're working with styling today, Awesome. So you can try to take some time to write what we're doing, write what you're writing on the screen. So I'm going to explain that later, inshallah. Okay, now you've got what's the Abdurrahman, can someone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Jazakallah khairan. Mu'ad said you can hear anything.
Now I can hear you.
Okay. So, okay, thank you for letting me know. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to build a kind of a web page. Then we're going to start to do the styling later on. So the first thing about the web page is we're building a web page that has chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. And we want to pull those chapter 1, 2, and 3 as the headers. And we want to have in the paragraph, we want to have the first chapter, the second chapter, and the third chapter. So among the things we do is your command S, you save it first. That's the first thing you do. After you saved it, then you come over here. You want to review it in the Finder. So if you want to review it in the Finder, you're going to open with Google Chrome, let's say, for example. So this is what we've done so far. So we've done chapter 1, the first chapter, chapter 2, the second chapter, chapter 3, the third chapter. So this is what we've done so far. So now let's go back and do some styling and see what happens when we do the beautification. So in the styling method, what we do is not very difficult, but it's very important. So what we do is not very difficult, but it's very important. So style.css. So now let's do some styling here. So for the any styling you want to do, it must have a connection with the things you've written in your HTML file. So now let's say, for example, you define your header 1 and you define the header 2. So now you want to have everything that has the name H1, which is the header 1. You want it to have a color which is going to be a dark green. So what do? What you do is you're going to say H1, then you use a curly bracket. I think you know how to write a curly bracket in Mac. Mac is always very complex. Shift Control. You know, we've got different marks here. I think how do you use a curly bracket? I think it's Shift Control Options. See, if I'm not mistaken. H1. I've got two Macs here. So one is old and one is new. I'll be working with the old one. So I'm gonna just 4 minutes. Yeah, so does anyone use Mac 2017 there?
Excuse
No.
me?
Does anyone have Mac 2017?
I don't think so.
I have it 2020.
Yeah, maybe I'm gonna move to the 2020. This is 2017 I use for teaching, but I usually run my codes on 2020, Mac 2021. And the keyboards are not the same. Mac is so crazy. They just keep changing the keyboard system every time. It should be Shift, Alt, should be Shift, Alt, yeah, Shift, Alt. It's not working here. So stupid. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go online and just copy. So this is something I'm not actually very used to Mac. I just started using it a few months when my laptop crashed. So I'm just gonna copy it from here. Just 1 minute. I have both 2021 and 2007. So but I work with a lot with my 2021. I'm just gonna copy here. On your 2020, 2021, do you have how do you write your curly bracket? Who was uses 2021? Abdurrahman, right? Yeah. How do you
I have it
so what?
2020 Mac.
2020, yeah. How do you write it?
I just use shift.
Shift,
Um,
Alt.
no, I just shift, and I think it's because I have the Arabic letters. I shift and G. That's all.
Shift and Jim. Jim is not which letter? Shift J.
You probably could try shift alt 8.
Yeah, I'm trying to shift Alt. No. This. I'm just gonna copy it, don't worry. I don't want to change it to the second laptop. It will have been very easy for me, but don't worry, I'm going to just do this. So we're going to do this. So what we're going to do here is we want to do the styling now. So in styling is about talking about the color. We want to talk about whatever, how you want your H1 to look like. So it's not something very very difficult actually, but it could be some confusing if you're not very careful. So you say your color. So your color could be maybe you want to make it dark green or dark blue, wherever, or make it brown. So you click on the brown. So now you will see the header. If you go back and check out your header, you're gonna see every header, which is H1, is not gonna have a different color. So you can save this by Command S, and you want to check it out. So you go back to your task 2. Go back to task 2 and Command S also. Then you check this online. This is Control click, reveal in Finder, and open in Google Chrome. So now you say all of the chapter 1, all of the H1, they all become a dark brown. So this is exactly what the styling does. It helps you to change it changes the color, it changes the way it looks or whatever. So this is exactly what the styling does. So this is just the beginning. We have a lot of things we can do with the styling. So let's go back to the style.css. Remember, I'm working with Mac, and if I say Command S, you use Control S in Windows, and my keyboard is not the same. I have 2017 with American keyboard and 2021 with Swedish keyboard. So it's very crazy. So I am used to the Swedish keyboard with my programming language. I just bought these 2017 last week. So that's why I'm having issues with the keyboard. So I don't know how to deal with the keyboards with you. You try to find out how to write those things. So we're gonna be working with curly bracket for now with the styling. So just try to have it. You can copy and paste it. Okay, now we're gonna move to the second styling. Let's say, for example, you want to select maybe only one of all of the you don't want to use all the headers. You just want to use one of it. So you can select the one you want to use. You can select the header 1. So then you're gonna use the Command V, the curly bracket. So you can put that to be a different color, because sometimes you want to select the first and you don't want other ones to be like the first one. So let's say you want the color of these to be let's say blue. Can use dark blue. So the Command S, then you click on your task, Command S as well. Then you check it out. You click on Control click, reveal in Finder. So you want to check it out, see what you have. So now we have the first one. So because you told the style of the CSS to select only the first one with that color. So you want all the ones to become the dark brown, then you want the first one to be with a blue color. So this is the way to do it. And if you want to select 1 and 2, you can also do that. So now let's go back and do more styling before the time runs out. So the next thing we're gonna do is you want to work on the paragraphs now. So you just get space. So you use #paragraph. Paragraph 1. So you give a space and use your curly bracket. So in the curly bracket, in between the curly brackets, you use you write your color. And you want your color to be, let's decide what the color is gonna be here. Let's say you want the color to be dark golden rod. So this is it. So you do the same thing, Command S, and you click on your task, Command S as well. Then you check it out, you click on it, revealing Finder, and you check out what you have. So, did you find anything different? I don't think there's anything different because the color is almost similar to what we have. It's a bit not the same, but let's use a color which is going to be very obvious because that does not, it doesn't display the difference much because it's not very, yeah. So let's try to use another color. Let's say we're using use a different color here. Color. Green. Let's use green color. So okay, maybe we need to declare all of these paragraphs first. Let's let's do all the paragraphs on the first time before we can. Yeah, because I know we might selectively do it, but let's work on all of them. Let's put all of them with different colors and see if we're gonna get something very meaningful paragraph. Paragraph. Yeah, you want to say something?
No.
Okay. Now paragraph 2, let's use a different color. Color is equals to, let's use aqua. Yeah. Then let's do for this third paragraph. Paragraph 3. Control. Then give it a space here. Color. Then let's use another color. Tuesdays. Okay, now let's give it a try again. Let's see if it's gonna work. So, but what we just need to do is we need to check out if there's gonna be, because sometimes if there is no connection between what we're writing and what we have here, we might have a problem. Okay, I think we're having a problem already because we're actually declaring this, we didn't call this a paragraph, we call this P1. So this is where the problem is. So now let's declare the paragraphs we want to paint. So let's declare some paragraph. Let's just write something. Let's go P. Let's go P. The paragraphs we want to write is, let's say, ID, because you need to give a declaration of the ID. ID is equals to a paragraph. Paragraph 1. So we didn't declare that. So, and make sure this is in a quotation. Make sure you put this in a quotation sign. So body bracket P ID is equals to paragraph 1. So what you want your paragraph 1 to be? Let's call it let's say once upon a time, I like to pray on time. I like to pray on time. That's the first paragraph. And you can declare the second one, left angle bracket, ID. So you can set paragraph 2 or GH. H2. I love I love my friends as myself. Okay, now to paragraph. So we have this with command S. So, and if you go to your styling also, you have to click on command S. Make sure you always save them. So if you want to check this out and see if the changes are being so now we have the paragraphs here. So you got the first paragraph. I like to pray on time. I love my friends like myself. So this is out today. So now you've been able to give the first chapter, chapter 1. You've been able to talk about what the chapter is, the chapter 1, first chapter. You talked about the second chapter. You've talked about the third chapter. And now you talked about what you like to do. You can see the styling is changing the colors. So you're gonna go back and let's do more. Let's try to do more examples. If you're stuck somewhere, let me know so that we can give a review. Safwan, I don't know if you're connected or not. Muad, hope all is fine. And Masoud,
I am.
are you
Saud,
okay?
Masoud is in the bathroom. Yeah, I'm done. Everything done.
Right. Yeah, you can use the bathroom fast, and we're gonna work on the next one now. So there's something we also call the ID selector. The ID selector is what we use. The ID selector use the ID attribute of the HTML element. So that's why you see we said ID. So the ID is actually unique within a web page. So it allows the developers to select a specific element for styling. So let's say we have an ID selector. They were prefixed with a H character. So this is something we need to know. We know what element selector is. In styling, we have what we call the element selector. So the element selector would allow the developers to select the HTML elements based on their element type. Let's say, for example, if you want to select P like I did before, you're going to select a P and you're going to style your P. So the rule will apply to all the P's. The same thing if you want to select your H1. So everything that has H1 is going to have the styling. So this is exactly what we use in web designing. So wherever you give an ID to, you say the PID is this. So if you go to your styling the CSS and you call on the paragraph, so it's going to connect with the ID and use that to effect the changes you want to have on your web page. So now let's try to do another one, which let's call it span. There is something we also call span. So let's use the left angle bracket, span, then your ID. Your ID is equals to, let's say, latest. So let's say you have something you want to have on your web page. You want someone to get, you want it to attract people the more. So you have something you want to put on your web page, which people would get more attraction from. So, or people will that will give people more attraction on the web page. So we call that latest. Let's say you have a latest movie, letters, cloth. Let's say you have a web page where you sell things. So you have a letters cloth, so you can use this to call or to attract people's attention to what you have on it. So let's see how it's going to work. So the first thing you do is you write span and you give it ID as the latest. And on that latest, it depends on whatever you want to write. You want to write new Islamic book or new Islamic text. So you can write new Islamic text and let's see what's going to happen. Now let's save this, Command S, and go to the styling and see how we're going to style it. So remember, you already given the ID, so which is the latest. You give your hash, and you write the latest. So your latest, you use a curly bracket. You use a what? You use a curly bracket. So in between the curly bracket, you write what you want to have. So you want to have a background. Now this is not the same with the way we use a color. There is a difference between when you use a color and when you use a background color. So in this case, let's use crimson. Let's use crimson. So we want to have a background color, not the color of what we actually are typing. Asim, hope you're focusing. You're gonna have to make a screenshot of your page and send it to me today as well. So I need to see all these things being done, both the CSS page and the HTML page. Please let me focus. So now you've called it what you want. You want the background of what you of the latest to be what? To be crimson. So you would save this. So you will go back to your task and you also do the saving there. And after you've saved that, then you want to check it out on the web page. So rebuilding Finder, and you want to see open with Google Chrome, and now you have it, no Islamic text. So this is gonna be the way, because you already told that you want a background to be like this, not just any other part of it. So this is the way you do it. And whoever sees this will look at this first because it's very attractive. So this is the way to do the background coloring. So let's go on to the next section, and that is we want to use what we call the navigation. So we call something the navigation. So like I mentioned to you before, the class selector, there is something we call a class selector. So what does it do? Elements can also be selected based on the class attribute to them. So let's say, for example, the CSS, we know what the CSS rule says is when it's applied to something, you can also apply to something that looks like it. Maybe it's things of the same class. So the CSS rule has been applied to all the elements within the specified class name. So the class selector is prefixed with the a dot character. So look at it. We're going to do an example now. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So let's do an example, and we're going to open a new body. So in between this body, you want to say left angle bracket A. Here, so you have a class. You call the class navigation. So, and you use your left angle bracket. So you say go back. So this is what the navigation is going to show you. So then you do the same for, you use a left angle bracket P, a right class. What does the class say? Also navigation. So this is what you see on the web page that tells you to go forward and go backward on the web page. So you use a right angle bracket, you say go forward. So go forward. So this is going to help you with navigation. It's going to tell you that you've got to go forward and go backward. Make sure you save this before you go to the styling. So now we're going to go to the styling page. So on the styling page, we're going to write dot navigation. Here we're not writing hash, we're writing dot navigation. So in your dot navigation, you use your put your curly bracket, and in between that, you write your margin. So you declare your margin. You want your margin to be what? To be 2 pixel. So you want your margin to be 2 pixel. So let's take a look and see if we have made some sense. So you click on command save, and you go back to your page. You do the same thing. Then you try to see what you have. Revealing Finder. So now you've got it. Go back and go forward. So this is exactly the way it looks when you are navigating. The shaping that is going to look more beautiful. But for now, it's just showing you how to write the word. So if you click on it, on a normal day, it's going to go forward and it's going to go backward. So it's so let me show you one more before we go, which is called the descendant selector. So there's something we call the descendant selector, and is actually also a very important thing about HTML. And what does it do? What does it do? What it does is they're very useful to if you need to select HTML elements that are not contained within another selector. So if you want to select something which is not in the same selector, that is this is what we use. So let's have a look at the way it works. Let's open a body of a new paragraph. And in this case, we don't really need much about the body here. Yeah, but we can do the same within the same body. We can do it within the same body. So don't worry about opening a body. Let's do all of it inside the same body here. So by this, you're gonna declare a div. You're gonna declare a div. Does anyone have any questions before we proceed?
No.
Okay, Abdurrahman does not have any. Nasir, do you have any issues? I think Nasir is a pro in HTML. Abdullah, do you have any issues?
No.
Alhamdulillah. Barakallahu fikum. So let's move on with the next thing. So let's see what we can do before the time runs out. So let's call the div function. So your left angle bracket, then you call the what you call the div. So your ID is equals to log. G. So you close it with the left angle bracket. So then you open up. Then you have a header. The header is the name you want to give to that thing. You want to call it the latest news. So then you go underneath the div. You open another one. You open another header. So it depends on if you want to write your own things, it's fine. Header 1, you close it, and you say today's hadith. Today's hadith, and let's give it a paragraph. So what is today's hadith? Love your neighbors. Al-Muslim al-Salama Muslimin Lisani. A Muslim is the one who other Muslims are saved from his evil tongue. So, this is al-Muslim man salima. So this is an hadith that says a Muslim is the one who all the Muslims are safe from his tongue. He doesn't backbite them. So where is the second div here? So we should have a div. Today's hadith, we should put it in between a div. So you can have this, you can bring this down and have a closing tag. No. Yeah. So let's say H1 header. So in between these, you can write archives. Because we don't have time actually. Let's check out the ones we've done so far and see how it looks. Oh, then you're gonna go to style, go to your styling, and you're gonna style what you've written. So you're gonna style your blog as blog. So you're styling your blog, but you're styling the H1 in it. Then you call it bracket. So you're right. What do you want the color to be? I want the color to be blue. And then you have these. Then you've got you. Blog div H1 as well. Then you want the color of these to be to also be blue. Color want it to be blue. So let's give it a trial and let's see what we've done so far. If it's gonna work. Remember to always put a nice. Remember to always use a semicolon. So if you use a semicolon, it's a very good way. So because you're gonna have a lot of things. So let's save this. We don't have time anymore. So let's save this and back. Okay, so okay, now let's check out what we've done on this page and see if we're making sense. We had a div ID, but we had a div, but we didn't have a div for the H1. We only had a div for, this is a closing tag. So this should not be closing tag, this should be opening tag. Then we should have the closing tag right here for the second div. Because if you don't make sure that your closing and opening tag is very okay for div, you're gonna have a lot of issues. So let's save this and see if it's gonna work. And if it doesn't work, you're gonna complete that and you send it to me yourself. So let's check it out in the browser and see what we've done. So alhamdulillah, it actually worked. So this is exactly what we've done so far. So it says what we did today is chapter 1, the first chapter, chapter 2, the second chapter, chapter 3, the third chapter. I like to pray on time. I love my friends like myself. So the new Islamic text, which we had, if you click on it, is going to take it somewhere. We're going to talk about that later, how to click on it, and it takes you to another page. So latest news, today's hadith. What is today's hadith? A Muslim is the one who other Muslims are saved from his evil tongue. Barakallahu fikum. It's amazing actually when you work with these things. It's not something which you can, when you write programs, you don't want to have distraction, but when you teach people what to do, it's more confusing than when you do it yourself. So if in case you want to have the video, I'm going to upload on my YouTube channel. Then I'm going to share the link with you so that you can have a back, you can have a back document. Yes, Abdullah.
What's your YouTube channel?
I'm going to send you the link, inshallah. Okay. Barakallahu
Okay.
fikum. Yeah. So in case there's no question anymore, we're going to stop here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Before
Alaikum
we
salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.